There is a man who stopped sleeping, not by choice. Something inside his brain broke, and within months, he couldn't speak clearly. Within a year, he no longer recognized his family. Then he died. His heart kept beating, and his lungs kept working. What killed him was the complete absence of sleep. The disease that took him has no treatment and no cure. It is a genetic mutation. Somewhere right now, someone is carrying it inside their DNA with absolutely no idea. You already know pulling an all-nighter is a bad idea, but that advice usually feels abstract. Science has mapped what a mind stripped of sleep actually goes through, and it follows a timeline precise enough to tell you exactly what happens, hour by hour. Look at this comparison scale. At hour 24, your cognitive performance drops to match a 0.1% blood alcohol level. You are legally too drunk to drive, yet entirely permitted to operate machinery or make decisions at work. Behind the scenes, your brain begins taking microsleeps, involuntary 1 to 30-second blackouts where your eyes stay open but your brain flatlines. By hour 48, the biological wall keeping REM sleep separated from your waking mind starts to fail. The brain runs its dream machine while you are technically awake. Shadows shift in your peripheral vision, and shapes begin to warp. Reach hour 72, and researchers classify the state as acute psychosis. Hallucinations turn multisensory. You hear voices and feel physical sensations with no external cause. By day 3, many lose the ability to tell that none of it is real. Pushing through exhaustion is a myth. Depriving yourself of sleep is the active dismantling of reality and basic sanity. In 1964, a 17-year-old named Randy Gardner stayed awake for 11 straight days for a science fair project. Monitored closely by Stanford researcher Dr. William Dement, Gardner's healthy mind rapidly unraveled. By day 3, he couldn't identify objects by touch. By day 10, asked to count backward from 100 by sevens, he stopped at 65 and completely forgot why he was counting. Gardner eventually slept for 14 hours, woke up groggy, and medically recovered. He survived solely because his brain retained the mechanism to sleep. People with fatal familial insomnia lack that mechanism. This genetic prion disease permanently deletes the ability to sleep. The hallucinations arrive, the personality dissolves, and death follows within 18 months of the first symptom. Both Gardner and FFI victims suffered total cognitive collapse. The question is, what exact biological process happens in the dark that prevents a physical death? This diagram illustrates the glymphatic system. While unconscious, a fluid wave washes over your neural tissue, flushing toxic waste out of your brain cells. Skip one night, and that cleaning cycle halts. Beta amyloid, the protein linked to Alzheimer's, rapidly accumulates and clumps together between neurons. For decades, scientists assumed this brain damage was the ultimate killer, but researchers at Harvard discovered the fatal blow actually originates in the gut. Prolonged wakefulness causes reactive oxygen species, essentially biological rust, to build up inside intestinal cells. This triggers massive systemic inflammation that spreads throughout the entire body. Researchers proved this by testing sleep-deprived fruit flies. When the flies were fed antioxidants specifically to clear that intestinal buildup, they survived sleep deprivation that would have otherwise killed them. Death from sleep loss is a highly specific, traceable chain of biological destruction that starts in your stomach and ends in your brain. You almost certainly do not carry the FFI mutation, but 1 in 3 adults watching this consistently sleeps less than 7 hours a night. As you can see in this split-screen chart, ordinary, chronic sleep deprivation triggers the exact same beta amyloid accumulation. Instead of a vertical spike from acute loss, it is a jagged, slowly climbing upward trend of toxins. The biological damage is identical, it just happens at an imperceptible rate. People sleeping under 6 hours a night quadruple their risk of catching a cold, while rates of cardiovascular disease and cancer rise steadily alongside chronic sleep loss. Then there is the psychological toll. While you are asleep, your brain reprocesses the emotional weight of your day, actively stripping the raw sting away from painful memories. Skip that reprocessing and the pain stays raw. Over time, you become more anxious, angrier, and less capable of empathy. Because the shift is incredibly slow, almost no one traces it back to their sleeping habits. They just assume that is who they naturally are. You spend a third of your life unconscious. In the dark, your glymphatic system flushes toxins, your immune system rebuilds, your emotional memories calibrate, and your gut clears out biological poisons. When you wake up, you assume you are the exact same person who went to bed. You aren't. You are a repaired and edited version. Deciding to sacrifice sleep means deciding exactly how much of that person you are willing to permanently lose.